In this video, we'll see how to use SwiftData in order to update our note, okay? So here, if I come here and I tap on this on note, Allen's Hotel, if I tap on it, as you can see, it will open up this on button sheet, and here we can update this title. So here, let's say Allen's Hotel updated. Now, if we tap on this save button, what it will do, it will save our note or it will update our note, okay? So let's go ahead and hit this save button. And as you can see, now we have this Allen's Hotel updated. And to prove to you guys that this is safe inside our database, what we can do, we can simply come here and remove this app, okay? And if we launch the app again, as you can see, we still have this Allen's Hotel updated, okay, showing that this is safe inside the database, okay. So in this video, we will see how to accomplish this result, because right now, this is on the current state of our app. As you can see, these nodes are not even clickable, okay. So in this video, we'll see how to make it clickable and also how to use SwiftData in order to update our node, okay. Enough talking, let us dive into our code. Okay, the first thing we want to do, we want to make each one of these row clickable, okay? So here, what we can do, if we come on this node row, what we can do, we can add an on-tap gesture, okay? So here is going to be that on-tap gesture. And for now, every time we tap on this one, what we can do, we can simply print no tapped. So let's go ahead and run the app. And now, normally, every time we tap on one of these rows, it's supposed to display a message, okay? As you can see, we have this not tapped, okay? Every time we tap on this. So at least we know that this is working, okay? This on tap gesture is working. But now, every time we tap on this one, what we want to do, we want to open up this button sheet, okay? So how can we do this? Well, in order to do this, as we saw in the previous video, what we can do, we can simply call this is showing on sheet, okay? And if we toggle this to true, normally it's supposed to pop up this on button sheet, okay? And if you guys don't understand anything of what I just said, just go watch the previous videos of this playlist, okay? And I've explained everything about this is showing sheet, okay? So yeah, instead of this print, what we want to do, we simply want to call this is showing sheet, and we want to set it to true. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the app again. And normally now, if we tap on this row, it's supposed to show this button sheet, okay? So let's go ahead and test this, okay? So it's working. So every time we tap on a row, it shows the button sheet, okay? So now the next thing we want to do, we want to do something. If I tap, for example, on this Allen's Hotel, what we want to do, we want to open up this button sheet, but we want to get the title, okay? We want to get the title from this row, okay? And we also want to get the description, because remember, what we want to do, we simply want to update this, okay? And in order to update this, we need to get this first, okay? So in order to do this, what we can do, we can go back on our note sheet, okay? And here on this note sheet, as you can notice, previously we simply had this title and description, okay, and we initialize this with our empty string, okay, but we don't want to do this anymore, okay. What we want to do, we want to get the data from this content view, okay. So here, for example, the data will be this title and this description, and we want to get this as a bindable, okay. So here, if we come here, we can comment out this, and now instead of this, what we want to have this bindable node. And for the type, it's going to be of type note. Okay, perfect. Now that we don't have this title anymore, what we want to get a title from this note, okay? Because remember, this note is on this note object, okay? And in this note object, we have this title, and we also have this content, which is the description. So if we go back on this note sheet, we simply want to copy this note, and yeah, we want to get the title from this note, okay? And normally this error should be gone. And here we also want to do the same thing for this description. So we want to get the note, and we want to get the description from this note, okay? And also that error is gone. And now the error that we get now the error because of this context insert, okay? And just for a quick recap, we did this context insert just to save the data inside the database, okay? And here we had this title and also this description, okay? But now we have this title, okay, because now that we are coming on from this content view, we come from this content view, and now we get this title, this Allen's Hotel, for example, and this description, okay. So now what we want to do, instead of creating a new node, we don't want to create a new instance of node anymore, okay. So yeah, what we want to do, we can comment out this, and yeah, we want to call this context dot insert. And now for a node, we simply want to pass the node that we have on object. So it's going to be node. And normally everything is supposed to work on the same way. But here we still have two errors simply because it doesn't know what is title and description, okay? And it makes sense because we don't have title and description anymore. So yeah, what we want to do, we want to get the title and the description from this node. So it's going to be node, the title, and also node the description. And now we can clean this up, but we still have an error up here, okay. So let's see what's the error. Here we have a value type boundable node, has no dynamic member description, okay. So here it's complaining because our node object doesn't have a description. So let's see if we go back to our node, we can see that we change our description to content, okay, because in the previous video we saw that we cannot directly give as a name here on description, okay. So that's why we switch it to content, okay, because description is a restricted word in SwiftUI. So yeah, instead of description, what we want to say, we want to call it content, okay. And normally the error should be gone. Okay, perfect. And now the last error we have simply because we are supposed to provide a node, okay, because remember, here every time we create a node sheet, we have to provide a node, okay. So for preview to work, here we need to provide a node. So let's go ahead, it's going to be node, and here we want to create a new instance of node, and for the title and description we can simply keep it empty. And here it's asking us to also provide the created ad. So we can do that. So here, comma, created ad, and we can simply say date that now. And normally everything should be okay. So let us try to resume a preview. And for some reason, a preview doesn't work, okay? Apparently we have an error. Let us try to run the app again. And here we have an error here, missing argument for parameter node, okay? Because remember, now for this node sheet, we have to provide a node, okay? So let us go back to our content view. And here, this is where we have this error, because before we didn't have to provide a node. So now, what we can do, we can come up here and create a new variable called selected node, okay? So here is going to be state private var selected node. And for the type, it's going to be of type node. And here we want to initialize it with an empty node. And here it's complaining again because we have to provide this created ad. Okay, so I'm getting tired of providing this created ad. So what we can do, we can go back on our node, okay? And here we can initialize this date, okay? So if we come here, we can initialize this date with this empty date. So normally right now, it's not supposed to ask us for the created ad anymore. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So it's not asking us for this created ad anymore. So now that we have this selected node, what we can do, we can simply copy this. And every time we open up this sheet, what we want to do, we want to pass this selected node, okay? So for this node, simply wants to provide this selected node, okay? So let's see. Let us run the app again. And oops, we have an error, okay? So let us read the error. Fatal error, fail to find a currently active container for node, okay? So after debugging this error of camera, what I found out is the way we provide, because here you can see that it's complaining because it cannot find a container, okay? And remember, we provided this container here, okay? We simply provided this on node itself. But for some reason, this does not work, okay, in our case. So as I said, after debugging, we will inject this container in another way, okay, because there's two ways to inject this container, okay. We can inject this with this on single line, okay, but we can also create a container, okay. So this is what we will do. So here what we will say, we will create a container ourselves. So here we will call it our model container, and here for the type, it's gonna to be of type model container. And now we have to initialize this model container, okay, because every time we run the app, we want this model container to be initialized. So here in this init, what we want to do, we want to initialize this. So it's gonna to be model container, and it's gonna to be model container. And here for our model, what we want, we still want this model, okay, we still want this node model. So we can simply copy this and paste it here, okay. And because this can throw an exception, as you can see, call can throw, okay, because this one can throw an exception, what we want to do, we want to wrap this into a cry cache, okay. So let's go ahead and do that. So we want to do this do, and yeah, in case we have like any error, we want to cache the error, and we can simply copy this or cut it and paste it here, okay. And here we want to call it with the cry, and here instead we cache on any error. For us, we won't do anything with the error, so what we can simply do, we can call this fatal error, and we want to provide a message. And now that we initialize this model container, here instead of providing this model directly, what we can do, we can comment out this, okay. And here for model container, now we can simply pass this model container, okay, that we initialize here. So we can copy this and paste it here. So let's go ahead and run the app again. Okay, and as you can see, the app is working perfectly again. So let us go back to what we were doing. So now every time we tap on this, it's supposed to open up the button sheet, okay. So as you can see, every time we tap on this, it will open up the button sheet. But what we really want, every time we tap on this, we want to get this title, we want to get the description, and we want to pass it. And we already did that, but the last thing we want to do is simply to bind this. Every time we tap on this, we want to update the selected node, okay. Because remember, right now it's showing an empty title and the empty description because we initialize this node to an empty title and an empty description, okay. So now every time we tap on this, we want to update this selected node, okay. So here before toggling this to true, what we want to do, we want to call this on selected node, and for the value we want to give it as value this node, okay. And now every time we tap on this, it will take this node, okay, it will bind this to this node, okay, and it will pass it to this node sheet, okay. And now because we have bound this to this node sheet, it will show the correct title and the correct description, okay. So let's go ahead and run the app again. Okay, now if we tap on this node, as you can see, we have the title and we have this description, okay. And if we tap on this on Flowerless Hotel, supposed to also show this Flowerless Hotel, and we also have the description, okay. So that means that we are at least successfully getting this node inside our node sheet, okay. And just to resume myself, because I know this can be confusing, let us resume again. So here what we did, here for this for each, what we did, we added this on tap gesture, okay. Every time we tap on this node row, we want to toggle this is showing sheet, okay. And we saw that every time we toggle this is showing sheet, it will make a sheet appear, okay. And we have this node sheet, okay. And now the next thing we did, we added this selected node. Why did we add this selected node? Simply because we wanted to update a node, okay. And in order to update a node, we needed a node to be updated, right? So here we needed this title and this description. So we went on this node sheet and we added this node, okay. And this node, every time we tap on this node row, it will simply take the node, so this one, and we send it to a node sheet, okay. And now because we send it to this node sheet, now every time we tap on this, we are able to see a node, okay. And now the last thing we want to do, we simply want to update. And in SwiftData, the good thing is the update and save are both the same, okay? So to update a node, we simply have to call this context insert. And also to create a node, we simply have to call this context insert, okay? So with that said, that means if we come here and we try to update this Allen's Hotel, for example, let us do that. So if I tap Allen's Hotel updated, normally when I click on this save, you're supposed to call this insert again, but here, instead of creating a new node, it will simply update my node, okay? So let's see, if I hit on this save, as you can see, we have this on Allen's Hotel updated, okay? Because our node has been updated. We can do the same for this on Flower List Hotel. So we tap on this one and we want to update this. So Flowers List Hotel updated. And if we hit on this save, as you can see, it updated or not, okay? So we successfully did updated, but as you guys can notice, we have a small bug here, okay? Because as you can see, we are still able to see this on description, okay? So what we can do, if you guys remember, we added this on description because we had this on text editor, okay? And the text editor didn't have a placeholder, okay? That's the reason why we added this description. So now, if we go back on this, here the condition for this description to be hidden, if we go on this on is description focus, we can see that it's only hidden when we focus on this description, okay? But when we are coming on from this, okay, so when we tap on this one, what we want to say, we want to say that even if we come from a node, okay, so if we are updating a node, we also want to hide this, okay, when we show this on button sheet, okay? Because right now everything is working, but it's only working when we tap on this on text editor, okay? So here, for this condition, what we want to say, that, okay, you can hide this on description if this on text editor is being focused on, or you should hide it if this on node, okay, the node that we have. So if the node that we have, and we get the value of the node. So if the content or the description, if this content is not empty, so if this is not empty, we also want to hide this on description, okay? So normally now, because when we come from here, okay, this on description won't be empty, because remember, this is the description, enjoy your stay, okay? So because this is not empty, you will follow this or, okay, we see, oh, okay, is this on text editor focus? No, but this on content or description is not empty, so you will hide this on description, okay? So let's go ahead and see if we run the app again. And if we tap on a node, you can see that now this text description is gone, okay? And everything is still working, because if, for example, here on instead of enjoy your stay, we say enjoy your stay updated, and we hit this save, as you can see, everything is still working and everything is working perfectly, okay? So the last thing we want to do is simply the delete action, okay? So that's it for this video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If that's the case, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.